Did you hear Prime Minister Narendra Modi's election speeches in UP on Sunday? He was talking about Pulwama terror attack, then he was talking about Balakot air strike on the terror training camp in Pakistan. Modi then spoke about Russia-Ukraine war, saying how the government is bringing back thousands of Indians from Ukraine by launching Operation Ganga. You must wonder why I'm talking about PM Modi's speeches that he made on Sunday. I'm going to explain the context in this episode of Politically Correct. Please bear with me for a minute as I take you back to the PM's speech in Bahraich last Tuesday. That was the day when Russian lawmakers had authorized President Vladimir Putin to use military outside Russia. We know what happened subsequently. Modi then spoke of the uthal-puthal turmoil in the world. Everybody is speculating what will happen tomorrow, what will happen the day after. Modi then asked, should India be powerful or not? There were cheers of approval from the crowd. Modi then asked them if they like a dhila dhala master or a dhila dhala daroga, meaning a soft, careless teacher or a careless, soft police inspector. Bharat becoming powerful is imperative, not just for Bharat, but for the entire humanity. Don't you want a majboot teacher and daroga? Therefore, responsibility of such a big country, such a big state, should also be on the strong shoulders, shouldn't it? जब समय आता है, tough leaders की जरूरत पड़ती है. So when there is time, you need tough leaders. I'm quoting from Narendra Modi's speech there in Bahraich. In a nutshell, the past week has seen the Prime Minister talking about a Mazboot Bharat, a Mazboot leader, strong India, a strong leader. The war is happening about 5,000 kilometers away from here, but it's resonating in UP elections. Please don't mind my mischief here, but I can't help saying Modi hai, to mumkin hai. BJP can make an election issue of a war that's taking place 5,000 kilometers away. By Friday, Modi's message from Bahraich was being interpreted in all kinds of ways by BJP leaders. So basically, in a post-truth era, facts are no obstacle to shaping public opinions, and BJP leaders know that. Hema Malini, for instance, she was first of the blocks, declaring in an election meeting in Bareilly that PM Modi commands so much global respect that he is, quote-unquote, taking part in Russia-Ukraine war to stop it. इसके लिए सब लोग विनती कर रहे हैं हमारे मोदी जी से, she said. Basically, what she said was that everybody is imploring our Prime Minister to stop the war in Ukraine. Hema Malini was saying this. It's another thing that if Russian President Vladimir Putin or Ukrainian President Zelensky, if he heard Hema Malini, they would be virtually scratching their heads in disbelief and dismay. But there is no point checking facts or arguing why Putin, the invader, would implore Modi to stop the war. As I said, it's post-truth politics. Look at the video clip of Hema Malini's speech. The crowd loved the fact that Russia and Ukraine were beseeching Modi for help. Many other BJP leaders were soon talking about Uri and Pulwama terror attacks, then surgical strikes and Balakot air strike. That was in the context of Russian invasion of Ukraine. You may scratch your head trying to establish a link between Uri, Balakot and Ukraine, especially when the government of India is doing a tightrope diplomatic walk. After all, Russia is a time-tested friend and military hardware supplier. So we understand the reason for this tightrope walk. But you must give it to the BJP, how it has used the war in Europe to find the missing link in its 2022 poll campaign in UP. In 2017, the BJP's campaign broadly centered on three issues: brand Modi and his welfareism, communal polarization, fired up by, you must remember, Kabristan versus Shamshan or graveyard versus cremation ground debate. And third was muscular nationalism, especially in the wake of surgical strikes in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. That was in September 2016, but it kept resonating for the next several months. Of course, there were other factors in 2017 also. Continuation of the BJP's social engineering formula that Amit Shah had started, developed in the 2014 Lok Sabha election. And of course, the anti-incumbency against then Akhilesh Yadav government. But basically, these three were the pillars of the BJP's campaign in 2017 UP Assembly election: brand Modi, polarization, and nationalism. Come to 2022, brand Modi and his welfareism remains intact in UP as elsewhere. You go to any UP village. I mean, everybody is talking about free food grains and benefits from other schemes like say PM Awas Yojana, Ujjwala scheme, apart from a lot of other schemes. So I can just share with you, I was talking to an octogenarian lady in a Gazipur village, and she told me, I'm just quoting her, she was speaking in her language, हराम का ना खाइए, जेका नून खाते हैं, जे देतबा ओकड़ा वोट देव. Meaning that she would vote for the leader whose salt she eats. So like in 2017, Modi factor, especially that so-called salt loyalty, is intact. So is the polarizing debate. You must be hearing references to Kabristan and Shamshan again. Adityanath, Amit Shah and other BJP leaders also keep referring to Atiq Ahmad and Mukhtar Ansari. I mean, they were dons who were once symbols of terror in a large area in UP. Yogi Adityanath government has used bulldozers to demolish their illegal constructions. The government has taken away many enclosed land occupied by them. The fact is that people are really happy about these bulldozers. So you hear people saying that, the reign of terror is over now. So there is some amount of acceptability, of course. But here is a catch. No BJP leader, neither Yogi Adityanath, nor Amit Shah, nor anybody else, no BJP leader is speaking about or is seeking any credit for the police encounter of another Don, Vikas Dubey. He was a Brahmin. You understand what I'm trying to suggest here. So the third plank of 2017, muscular nationalism, has been missing from the electoral discourse in 2022 election, because there was no region. In 2017, you had the terror attack. Then India launched a surgical strike on a terror launch pad across the LOC. This time there is no such thing, and so the nationalism discourse was missing. It was actually also being missed by many BJP leaders, especially when anti-incumbency is surfacing in many forms. You hear people complaining about lack of employment opportunities, stray cattle menace, and inflation, among a host of others. Besides, Akhilesh Yadav's attempted, I would say, alternative alliance of castes and sub-castes, something which Amit Shah had forged in 2014, which continued in 2017 for the BJP. I mean, Yadav's alliance is not making things easier for the BJP. It's at this point that Russia's Vladimir Putin has, I would say, chipped in, albeit unwittingly. The Russia-Ukrine war has evoked a lot of interest in India, with several TV channels, especially Hindi ones, covering it from ground zero. UPites too are keenly watching the developments in Europe. Who cares in UP whether Putin is right or wrong? Who cares about the Russia-China-Pakistan compact, as Subramanian Swamy said, and its implications for India? Who cares about the Modi government's diplomatic dilemma? And these finer details have little relevance in post-truth politics. The only relevant point, as BJP IT cell workers would tell you, is that India also has hostile neighbors. Therefore, the people must vote for strong shoulders of Modi in New Delhi and Yogi in Lucknow, as the BJP would have the people believe. That's all from me in this episode of Politically Correct. Thanks for watching.